Okay, so going to welcome up to the stage in a minute after a short video, Danny Gray. This is investment. Just ask a question. Danny will explain it incredibly well. We are investing Bolt Angels £1.2 million for 20% equity in the brand. They've done an amazing job. It was launched about 12 months ago. We got involved as Bolt. Danny actually came to speak at our conference back in April, and that's where we met, and we have evolved the relationship since and started funding the business and helping it grow and scale up. So that's the team. Danny is the CEO. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer, and then Dan Cook is a fantastic COO. And then we have an amazing panel of advisors and a team, and I will let the video do the talking, and then we can welcome Danny to the stage.
So, who are you?
Hi, my name is Danny Gray, and I am the founder of JAAQ.
Now this is JAAQ. The reason that I founded JAAQ was through my own struggles and suffering with mental health. The reason that I suffer with a mental health condition is because I got bullied when I was 12 years old in my middle school because my ears used to be right angles to my head. That affected me so much that I now suffer with a condition called BDD, or body dysmorphic disorder, that still affects me to this day. From these struggles though, I did create my very own cosmetic brand called War Paint for Men, which has gone from strength to strength.
War Paint for Men. War Paint founder
Danny Gray.
It is makeup for men, and it's called War Paint.
I've been wearing makeup for the last 20 years because it's given me confidence. It's a tool I use, and I created a brand called War Paint, which I launched 3 years ago. It's gone incredibly well.
War Paint has grown phenomenally over the last few years, but what I was getting was so many customers reaching out to me, not to ask about product, but my own experience about mental health. All they wanted to do was ask me questions and ask for tips on how best to support themselves and people around them. After seeing all of those messages, honestly, I couldn't sleep because I didn't have all of the answers. I realised I needed to find a way to get people quick and free information, but most crucially for me, from the right sources. I needed the best doctors in the world.
Hi, my name is Erin Turner.
Paul Gilbert.
David Veal.
Worked in the health service for nearly 40 years.
At the Institute of Psychiatry, King's College London.
I specialise in psychosis.
That's what I'm here to talk about today, depression.
And I needed people with lived experience with these conditions.
My name's Alistair Campbell.
My name is David Harewood.
I am a writer.
And I'm an actor.
And I'm here to answer questions about depression.
So with these people on board and using the latest technology, JAAQ was created.
What is depression?
So what is depression? Depression is...
On Mental Health Awareness Day, October 2021, JAAQ was launched, and we were blown away by the response.
We can exclusively reveal a brand new innovation which is being launched today.
A new free interactive online tool.
Just Ask a Question.
Just Ask a Question is now live. It's
JAAQ with a Q.
You've got 60 million people, and you've got 10% of them or 20% of them suffering from a mental health problem. That gives you some insight into the size of the problem.
You look at this and you think, why was this never done before?
I genuinely believe it's going to help so many people.
I can imagine businesses using JAAQ. I can imagine schools using JAAQ.
This could literally change the world and change healthcare.
Since the launch, the reaction from the users has been incredible. We were blown away with all the support, but we soon realised that it wasn't enough. Mental health is so much more than just a handful of conditions. We realised we needed to take it to the next level, so we built the JAAQ app. A mental health and well-being social media. A safe space, free for all and without the toxicity. You can have a huge amount of information that's going to support you, empower you and inspire you all in one place. Still using our JAAQ technology, you can ask questions at the click of a button. How does sleep impact my mental health?
Sleep and mental health have an incredibly close relationship.
With the new improved JAAQ platform, you're going to be able to ask over 50,000 questions across over 45 different topics. From these people doing unbelievable things in the world of mental health.
And in this experience, you can ask me any questions that you may have around Asperger's.
Anything you'd like about the menopause, sound healing,
Sexuality and gender.
On addiction.
Financial well-being.
Autism.
Resilience.
depression,
Health and fitness.
Psychosis.
Relationships.
Race.
ADHD,
Fertility.
Mindfulness.
gut health.
Psychosis.
About my experiences with suicide.
Disability.
About yoga. About depression. About being transgender.
JAAQ, I honestly think, is the future and is going to help so many people.
So, see ya.
Give a round of applause to Danny. Okay, we're just going to have a technology changeover. What I'd like you to do is just choose somebody near you or next to you and talk about anything to do with anybody you know in your life that's had a challenge with mental health. Okay, just find somebody next to you for a couple of minutes.
the cycles that I go through, which took me a long time to realise that I could self-sabotage quite a lot. The cycle of needing to feel that certain way.
That's all right. Hi, guys. What a result. I got 2 rounds of applause out of that. So thanks, Steve, for inviting me to come and talk today. That was quite an interesting question from Steve, I think, around have a conversation with someone next to you about mental health. I'm not sure if you did do that, but I think what everyone will be very aware of, that everyone's touched by it, right? Or you know someone who is touched by it. But I think the main thing for me is which I'll start off with, is I think society with the word mental health, there's a bit of a disconnect of what that actually means, right? So mental health is someone's ill, or depression, anxiety, body dysmorphia, where for me, mental health is everything, right? It's every minute of every day. And there's like physical health, right? I did this the other day. If someone walks around limping, you say to them, "Are you all right?" I say, "Oh no, I pulled my leg last night playing football." So you're very open to talk about it, right? And I think that's what we need to do with mental health. But anyway, so I'm not sure if anyone's heard of my other brand. So it's Wall Paint for Men. So the reason I did found that brand was because I do suffer with something called body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD. So it's an obsession about the way you look. I'll be honest, before I came today, whenever I know I'm talking or doing an event or something, I have to plan my outfit the day before. I planned it yesterday. I put it on before I come today. I didn't feel comfortable. So I got changed. But generally, I don't really have to do that. But sometimes what I'm trying to say, it still affects me every single day. So getting to about when I was 16 years old, I started wearing makeup because it gave me confidence, helped me manage my mental health. Been wearing makeup for 20 years, but couldn't find a brand that really related to me as a man, or something I'm buying confidence in the store. And I felt women could somewhat overcomplicate makeup. I want it very simple, right? So I created Wall Paint 5 years ago, launched the brand. I'm blessed that it's gone very, very well. We've scaled. We have a lot of PR and stuff because of what we're trying to do. But what happened, I was getting a lot of customers reaching out to me to ask me questions about my mental health. And these were mums, dads, people suffering with a condition. And I was having calls late at night, and there was one couple that really stood out to me. It was a girl reached out to me on Instagram and said her boyfriend suffers with BDD. She's only just found out because he's been following my journey. So can we have a call? So I said, yes, of course. So this guy is in absolute bits, and he's had it for 2 years. And when I say he's in bits on the Zoom call, he could hardly even look at me. And the girl turned around to me, and she said, look, I tell him he looks great all the time. But it doesn't seem to do anything. And I turned around and said, oh, look, I'll be honest, for me, at that point, it's probably the worst thing you could ever say. And she was absolutely shocked by that. And he was sat behind like this. And this guy has been suffering for a long time with this. This isn't new. And I think this is the other thing with mental health, right? It's normally 0 years up to 10 years is the average length from when someone first feels something wrong to when they actually reach out. And everything's based on crisis. And when you go to crisis, like he did, he went to his local NHS. They said, we're going to have to refer you to a BDD doctor. But the lead time was 36 weeks. So this guy is in absolute crisis. And he's got to wait 36 weeks. But what's interesting is that the first session you're going to have with an expert is all about, the first 3 sessions is all about information. So after I had these calls, there was some technology that became available to me. And I couldn't believe the potential of what it could do for the world of mental health. So imagine getting leading experts, people with lived experience, and be able to ask them questions whenever you want and get the right information. There's a lot of information that's out there, Google, search engines. Problem is with Google, you go on Google, you've got a headache, you're going to die. I think that's what everyone knows, right? And generally what happens, you put in a question into Google. For example, for me, if you put in what is body dysmorphia, you get 5.5 million hits of information. It's overwhelming, right? So you get an answer to that question, you go on, but those 5.5 million bits of information are by different people. So it could be someone who's blogged an article in Australia, it could be a press article. Is it trusted information? So you look through, and what do you look at? Text. 90% of the time, it's going to be text. All we've got to look at with creators, social media at the minute, how are people digesting information now? Social media, Facebook was a forum to begin with that you posted on. Then Instagram came along, it was pictures. And now what's absolutely flying, who have sponsored this event, so I'm bigging them up, TikTok. But it's quick. It's like this. And it's video information, right? So that is the big issue for me around how you gather this information. So this technology became available to me a little while ago, and I thought, could you imagine getting people this access? So if you haven't seen it, I'll demo how the information works first. So hopefully this will work. So imagine you have, so I'm not sure if anyone's a UFC fighter or fan. That's Molly McCann. She's fighting in Madison Square Gardens in a couple of months. She's sat there. You've got Scott Britton. He was a leading expert on health and fitness. He was on the front page of Men's Health last month. Sophie Bostock, she's the co-creator of Sleepio. She's an expert on sleep in the UK. You've got Katie Neves, who was formerly Martin Neves. He was Princess Diana's photographer. He's now transitioned into women. Last week, he was on the London she was on the London catwalk. However, what I've just done there, right, a lot of people shit themselves about, which is true, yeah? Someone who has transitioned, how do you approach them? If you fucked up, basically, like I just did. How can you ask someone like that without knowing? That's for me about the information. So you can ask her that on the platform. Janet Treasure is the #1 leading eating disorders expert in the world. Officially announced by the government. She's an OBE. There's a lot more, but I'm just giving you examples. This is Isaac Harvey. He carried the torch at the London Olympics. He's a disability advocate. He goes around all corporations telling them about disability and accessibility. He's an absolute legend. It goes on and on. Just showing from a different angle. So this Tommy Lualu, he's the captain of Wigan Warriors. So they're all sat there, and all you need to do to get right information. So Molly, we've filmed hundreds of questions with her. So these are just a selection. So you can either speak into it and ask a question, or you can select a question. And so let's see something about who is your biggest opponent.
It is what life and what the universe.
Okay, or you go to Scott Britton and ask him about stress. Will exercise relieve my stress? Hopefully. Oh. Sorry. Let's try Sophie, see if she's awake. What is insomnia?
Insomnia can be an incredibly lonely and isolating condition.
Okay, it goes on. You can ask Katie stuff about toilet, like what toilet would you use, etc., etc. And what you can actually do is speak into this as well. So there's a button that isn't here yet, but it will be. There's a button here where you can actually press and speak and ask any question you want. You get the right information. So the platform that we launched before was back a year ago, and it only had 3. It was a very basic website with 3 conversations: psychosis, depression, and body dysmorphia. We had 13,000 visits on the first night, 400 emails, and all we got were people asking for other topics to be covered. So what we've done, we've gone away and we've created a new platform, which is going to look like this. So hopefully, it's like a social media platform, right? Because how do people and young people especially get information? A lot of the time it's social media, but it hasn't got the negativity with it. So it's like a feed, like any other social media platform. And you've got Adam Hustler on there, Sophie Bostock, who we've seen. We're in talks with some big brands. And these are creators, right? So you can like, you don't see how many likes there are. You can't comment, and you can follow, but you don't see how many followers there are. Because for me, that's the vanity of social media. That's going to stop people looking at certain bits of information. Okay, but this is the breadth of information that we're going to have on the platform. So this is the search page, and on the search page, these are all the topics that we're covering for launch, and we're launching this on the 24th of November. So we've got body dysmorphia, psychosis, depression, OCD, addiction, stress, grief, eating disorders, burnout, suicide. We've actually partnered with Campaign Against Living Miserably, and we've filmed the call center, one of their call center people for the top 150 questions that are asked on the call center to give people access to information. So if we were to look at depression, for example, we've got Alistair Campbell on there, and we've got Paul Gilbert. So if you went to Alistair Campbell, you can go to his profile page, see everything he's posts, but you can have a conversation with him. And you can ask him hundreds of questions about his battle with depression. And then again, you can go back to Paul Gilbert, OBE, leading expert in the UK for depression, ask him hundreds of questions about depression. But as I touched on earlier really quickly, it's so much more than these conditions. So we've got sleep within lifestyle, nutrition, relationships, well-being. You can have a yoga session on here, health and fitness. You can speak to people about that. Mindfulness, sound healing. We're in big talks at the moment with a lot of clubs. I won't show you what that looks like. But imagine young fans being able to come onto a platform like this, go and speak to a superstar and ask them how they manage their stress. Does winning and losing affect you? Like, all of these sort of questions get young people into it. This is quite cool, actually. So on Monday, I filmed the High Performance podcast. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. I filmed it last week, a couple of weeks ago. They're releasing it on Monday. They're so blown away by the platform that they're going to have their own section on here. So you can come on and ask Jake, Damien, and Alex all questions about their mental health, because they all talk about it, but within here you can go to real depth and get amazing information. So finally, for me, just on the platform really quickly, you can see you can like stuff, you can like questions. So all of this is free. You don't need an account. You can come and get all this information at a click of a button. But the search bar here first, the search bar on the Explore is going to have every 50,000 questions, plus we've got on the platform. If you put stress in here, every question that any expert has answered on the platform will come up and be topicalized for you. So what I want to do is people who might be, let's say, stressed, maybe there's a question about, does yoga improve stress? And you go to that, it takes you straight to the yoga expert who's going to answer that question for you. So it's giving you people that information. So finally, you've got a My JAAQ section. So it's totally free, you don't need an account, but if you try to like, share, or anything, you need to create an account, totally free. All we need is your email address and a password, that's it. No personal information. Anything you like gets saved in the JAAQ section. So you can go back and you can see everything you've liked, watch it again. It will save every feed post that you've got. You can create your own collections. And for me, that's what the real powerful thing is for this platform. So what does everyone bang on about really quickly about mental health? We need to talk. We fucking get it. All right? There's about 478 documentaries out there about you need to talk. We get it. But not a lot of people are ready to talk, right? So with my body dysmorphia, I was a fucking nightmare for my mum. I was ripping T-shirts on, punching holes in walls, didn't know how to manage myself, let alone my mum, right? So she would just sit there like this. I actually talk about it on the High Performance as well, which probably none in this room knows. My mum got abused for 5 years as well, physically, quite badly. And I was in there, just me and my mum with her boyfriend who was very physical with her. I didn't know how to manage that situation. And my mum fucking didn't. And the other thing for me, my mum didn't know how to get out of that relationship. And people say, well, why don't you just leave? There's nothing to do with that. But imagine on this platform, you go and understand, ask people questions in the safety of your house, get the right information. Maybe it will help me help my mum. But this is what I'm saying. Imagine me doing a collection on this platform for my mum, leading experts for body dysmorphia. Maybe I want her to do some yoga. Maybe I'll go and speak about violence. And then I'll collect it. And I can just send it to her via an email without having to start that conversation. That's for me what the power of this brand could do. So anyway, we are launching on November the 25th, and a few things I just want to show you which are really exciting. So we are launching, Holland & Barrett are launching with us, and in 2 of their stores, Oxford Street and in Manchester, at the back of the stores, they're having JAAQ rooms, JAAQ pods. That all of this is going to be free, and people just go on and access it. Bupa are launching with us as well. So I'm doing a talk next Thursday at Bupa. So they're going to be sending this out to all of their customers to use this as a portal. Internally, NatWest, I'm at NatWest on Monday in Gogarburn. NatWest are using it. They're talking about putting it in banks. But this is really exciting. I don't know if I should show this, but it's not confirmed yet, guys, that this is, stop recording. But this, for me, is what's really cool. This has literally happened over the last week or a few days. So we talk about talking, right? And this is all online, but can you imagine something like this? A JAAQ coffee shop. Okay, so what do people do at a coffee? Let's go and have a coffee. Let's go and have a chat. But they don't really chat about anything. I think a lot of coffee brands say they're doing stuff. They're not really. So a coffee shop, this is all mocked up. We did it today, by the way. But imagine something like this. And within the coffee shop, we have screens. We have screens with people, because what I want to get away from are people feeling they have to go behind a curtain to talk about mental health or ask a question. That's what the problem is. Let's just feel comfortable to go up and do it. So all of these are questions. So to get people to talk and maybe have a look at a question and start talking about it, similar to we did earlier. JAAQ, and then we're going to finally have our own coffee as well to help us fund the platform. And on that, you can't see it, but there's loads of questions on there. And it's coffee with a purpose. And that's to help us fund this mission and help us change the world a question at a time. So thank you very much. Steve, thanks for being on board with everything. God, I've got to unplug this now.
Brilliant. Thanks, Danny. Okay, home straight. That was inspirational. Keep an eye out for JAAQ. If you're interested in getting involved, come and see one of us afterwards. But 24th of November is the official launch date. And then watch out for Jake Humphrey's High Performance Podcast. It's out this coming Monday.